Hey, what is up, everybody? I am Cam Jennings coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Mighty Few. For those of you keeping score out there, man, this is episode 7 of season 3 of the Mighty Few. And what are we talking about today? Today, I want to talk to you all about how I turned one of the worst launches I ever had into $8,891.03. That is so specific, right? Well, I had to bring receipts for you, so you knew that I wasn't messing around, okay? Here is a printout of this particular launch. It was called The Drive, 0 to $1,296 monthly. That was the name of the product. As we can see, it came out and, at the very end, the very last day of 2017, okay? And we see what that 18,173, that's how many people hit my sales page. That 446, that's how many sales ended up happening. That 2% is a conversion rate. Again, it's not great. That's not a great conversion rate. And that 49 cents is visitor value, and that 8,891.03 is how much money this product earned. So what is the story behind this? How did I do this? Because let me tell you something, this product right here, it started out as a mega flop, okay? It wasn't anywhere close to 446 sales. Nowhere close, not even close, okay? Well, you notice all that traffic that was hitting my sales page? 18,000 visitors hitting my sales page? Okay, well, that was happening because I had recruited a lot of affiliates for the drive. I'd had several really good product launches, and, affiliates, it was getting easier to recruit affiliates. They wanted to promote my stuff. So when the drive happened, the drive was all about membership clubs. That's what the drive was all about. It was about membership clubs, and it was a great product. What happened with the drive was I decided this was going to be the angle for the drive. I was going to take bullet points on everything I had learned about membership clubs since I did my last product about membership clubs, which was called Membership Dons. I did a product called Membership Dons. It did really well. So about a year later, I wanted to do another product on membership clubs. Why? Because I'd learned new things about membership clubs that I wanted to share. I had another 2 cents to add to the subject of membership clubs. So I did this one called The Drive. Now, The Drive was special because The Drive, I had bullet points that I had written down of everything I wanted to talk about with membership clubs. And I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive. I'm going to drive and I'm going to talk while I'm driving. And then I'm going to stop at locations. I had picked out special locations along the way that were significant to me in my life. Like my elementary school was one of the locations. My high school was one of the just different locations that were significant to me in my life, and what I learned there that helped me in business at that point, right? So the product was meant to be, yes, informative about membership clubs, but also entertaining. Also, there was an element of entertainment to it, right? So that was what the drive was all about. And it wasn't hard to put the product together because I was doing it, driving around in my van. And this was not my idea, okay? There is another product that came out by a guy named Jeremy Kennedy, who I really think has done a good job in marketing for his career. And he did a product a little bit before the drive, maybe a year before the drive. It was called Dashboard Confessions. Kind of like that band Dashboard Confessionals, but not the band. He did a product called Dashboard Confessions, and he was coming home from a mastermind he had just attended. And man, he was like fired up after coming home from this mastermind. So while he was driving, he was having all these thoughts about how he wanted to apply stuff he learned in a mastermind to his business. And he was so inspired that he decided to do this video call while he was driving home. And he turned that into a product. It was called Dashboard Confessions. Now, the way I remember it, Dashboard Confessions, did not get a lot of sales. It did not get a lot of sales. And it kind of annoyed me. I promoted Dashboard Confessions. I thought it was a fantastic product, but it did not get a lot of sales. And I told him, I said, man, I love this Dashboard Confessions product. It really annoys me that it didn't get more sales. And he says, I know, man, but what are you going to do? All right. So anyways, a year later, right? I never forgot that I didn't think Dashboard Confessions got the respect it deserved. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this kind of dashboard product, and I'm going to try to make a go of it. And it's going to be kind of like a shout out to this Dashboard Confessions product that I thought was awesome. So I did my version of it, and it was called the Drive. And you know what? Just like Dashboard Confessions, the Drive was totally flopping. On that sales page, for the Drive, I was talking about, man, I've learned a lot about membership clubs in the last year. I'm going to show you what I've learned this last year about membership clubs. I'm going to take you on a drive. You're going to go on a drive with me. We're going to drive around. I'm going to tell you all the stuff I learned, right? Whatever it was, whether it was the sales page, probably had a lot to do with the way I conveyed the offer on the sales page is probably what really was sinking that offer. But whatever it was, man, it was flopping, and I was bleeding traffic. As you can see here, this offer got 18,000 visitors on its sales page. Okay, now let me tell you something. It wasn't close to 446 sales at first. I recognized that I was bleeding traffic. I was wasting traffic. And I was like, man, what am I going to do about this? I didn't want the launch to flop. All right. So I had to quickly come up with something to save it. And I'll tell you what, I think looking back on it, this was 2017. I feel like I'm a little more savvy of a marketer now than I was in 2017. And I'll tell you today, if I wanted to save that product, I probably would have adjusted my the way I was conveying the offer on my sales page. I would have probably adjusted the angle that I was using on the sales page, starting with the headline. That's probably what I would have done. But I needed a more direct route. Back in 2017, I didn't feel like adjusting the angle on the sales page was going to move the needle. I didn't feel like it was going to move the needle. What I felt like I needed to do was I needed to motivate my affiliates to really push this product. That's what I felt like I needed to do. So what I did was I went out and I got PLR license to some really cool software, right? I got a white label license to some really interesting software that that matter. And I think I got a few different, I put a package together. That was a really, really nice package, right? It was a really nice package of white label rights on some software and some extra stuff. So I put a really nice bonus package together. The bonus stack for the Drive got infinitely better on the last couple days of that launch. It was a 4-day launch, and the bonus package got infinitely better. And it worked like gangbusters. As you can see, I ended up getting almost close to 500 sales. But it was all based on that bonus package. Literally, the bonus package that I put together was worth more than the product itself. And the bonus package, this is what's important. It's not that the bonus package was worth more than the product itself. Yes, that's a fact. But that's not why I saved the launch, right? I saved the launch because the offer became more captivating. The offer became more captivating, right? And that's a difference than just something being more valuable. It doesn't just need to be valuable. It needs to be captivating. It needs to look valuable. Whether it's more valuable or not. The thing is, I could argue with you that the Drive was the most valuable thing that they got for their $10, or $27 or whatever I was charging back in 2017. I can't remember, but I could argue that, and that's how I felt. But it doesn't matter how valuable the thing is that you're selling. That doesn't matter. I mean, it matters in the long run because you want to offer up value to people and you want them, to get something out of what you're selling. But what matters most, especially when your launch is failing, when you're on a flopping launch, what matters most is how it's conveyed on the sales page, the captivation element. How are you conveying the offer, right? Is it captivating? Is it curiosity building, right? Are they interested to the point where it's like they desire it, right? Because if they don't desire it, if it's not captivating, if you're not conveying that offer in a way that's captivating, then your launch is not going to do what you want it to do, right? So when I increased that bonus stack, when I elevated that bonus stack and I sent that word out to my affiliates that this is what the bonus stack is now, it immediately made the offer more captivating. And I saved a flopping launch because of it. Now, I haven't always been like smart enough to do that. I remember another product that I launched, it was called Talk Show Empire. And, maybe that's a story for another day. And maybe I'll tell it another day. But a Talk Show Empire, the launch was flopping. And, I wasn't the best marketer. I thought I was pretty good, but I still had a lot to learn. And, when Talk Show, and the thing about, when I was launching on Warrior Plus is public, right? It's a public thing. Everybody can see your failure, okay? When you launch a product and your conversion rates are low and you're not getting a lot of sales, everybody can see that. Everyone can see it. So it can be somewhat embarrassing when you flop a launch. And with Talk Show Empire, man, I was like so frustrated that product was flopping. I pulled the plug on the launch after 2 days. It was supposed to be a 4-day launch. I totally pulled. It's the only time I've ever done it. But I was so annoyed and so frustrated with it that I pulled the plug on the launch after 2 days, ended the launch, and took it off the market. And I was frustrated. And then I had affiliates reaching out to me like, hey, why'd you close this product, man? I was trying to promote it. It's like, man, it hasn't gone well, whatever. It's a story for another day. Okay. But the point that I'm trying to make is I don't always get it right. Okay. I don't always get it right. And it's like a progression. You learn as you go. Okay. But with the drive, and the reason I wanted to talk about it today was that with the drive, I learned how to really leverage bonuses. And you can leverage bonuses if your launch is flopping. Like, let's say you got a launch and you're launching a digital product and it's not doing what you want it to do. You're getting a lot of traffic to the sales page. There's not a lot of conversions. There's 2 ways you can really change and turn that launch around. One is completely overhauling the angle on your sales page so that it's more captivating. And 2, leverage your bonuses and make sure all your affiliates know about the new bonus stack, right? And that's 2 really big ways that you can turn a failing launch around. Anyways, hope that's helpful to you. Listen, you want to know more about licensed content, which is licensed content, PLR content, which is the exact way, white label content, PLR content, that's the exact way I turn that launch around, okay? If you want to know more about that, get over to epicconversions.com. Get on my email list. I'm going to give you 10 secrets to PLR content. Okay. That's all I got. Have an amazing day. And I will see you guys on the next episode of The Mighty Few. Peace now.